Welcome to Meet the Movie Press for Friday, April 8th. We're going to be talking about the Rogue One trailer, Dave Bautista being cast in Blade Runner 2, some Batman vs. Superman box office stuff, some release date news. This week's new releases is going to be a lot of fun. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk, we talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's Meet the Movie Press.
You did that so well.
Thank you so much.
You should do that for a job.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
I am Jeff Sneider, host of Meet the Movie Press, here with Simon Thompson.
Hello, good morning.
How are you, buddy?
I'm okay. It's been a really
busy
busy week.
Last weekend.
I missed you. You went to Vegas.
You should have just crashed
the bodies.
That's right. Should have just crashed with the bachelor party. This is my buddy Simon.
I did think about it, but I didn't think it was going to be exactly like the Tom Hanks movie. And if there's no donkey in a lift, it ain't a party.
Hey, good point.
Yeah.
There were no donkeys this time around, but I did leave both broke and broken.
I did see your tweets. I was a little bit worried.
Oh my goodness. Guys, I should not be playing blackjack.
Okay.
I don't even think I can add to 21.
Which is always a problem.
It's just so much fun going, hit
you're
me.
You're playing blackjack.
Anyways, I am back. We are here to talk about a ton of movies. We'll have some leftover residue from last week.
Yeah.
Where do you want to start, big guy?
Shall we talk about new releases first of all? Get those out of the way.
Okay. Yeah,
cool.
there's a lot coming out this weekend.
Yeah.
We'll delay the news. Normally we start with the news.
You can start with the news if you like.
No, let's talk about this week's new movies. There's a ton of them.
Let's start with The Boss, something I've seen that you haven't seen.
No, I went to play basketball on Tuesday night. I felt bad about it. I do want to see it, especially after reading Jeff Wells' review where he just called it like the nastiest, meanest thing. So what did you think?
Well, I saw it twice. I saw it once about a month or so ago to do an interview with Melissa.
Okay.
And then I saw it again this week to do a review for IGN. It's not high art, as I say in my review, but I actually really enjoyed it. There are parts that don't quite work. When you're looking at a step up from Tammy, which was the last film that she did with her husband, who's also directed this one.
Right.
It's a big step up from there, so I'm very interested to see what they'll do with their third movie. I thought she was great in this. Yeah, it's kind of similar kind of stuff to what she's done before, but something I really loved about it was the brilliant creative swearing.
She's got a potty mouth, doesn't she, Miss McCarthy?
An amazing filthy mouth. She would put sailors to shame, and she uses it absolutely fantastically. You can get a hint of that from the Red Band trailer that's online. But also, I do love a good dick joke. And there are loads of absolutely golden dick jokes in this. And the supporting cast is great.
Dick jokes. Simon Thompson.
Simon Thompson. Indiana Jones and the golden dick joke.
Right.
Totally nailed that one. TM. So I really enjoyed it. It's not high art. It's not going to win any Oscars. It's not going to win any awards or anything like that. But as far as just a dumb movie to go and see and just have fun with, I came out, I watched it twice. I still laughed. I found other jokes in it the second time round. It does what it says on the tin. It ticks boxes.
I want to see it. I almost saw it last night because I was having a rough day and I needed a laugh. I didn't end up going, but I definitely want to check it out.
Well, there's a lot of comedies out there in the last 12 months or so that I've come out of the theatre and I've been like, okay, but that was amusing. But I left feeling good at the end of this. Mm-hmm. If you don't like Melissa McCarthy, it's not going to win her any new fans.
I really enjoy her.
Yeah.
I really like Spy and The Heat, so...
She does what she does, and she does it really well.
Here's my question. Ben Falcone, her husband, could he direct a comedy without her? Does he need her? Or, can he handle himself by now?
Yes, I think you can tell, looking at this one, that he obviously co-wrote this as well. The training wheels are coming off.
Okay.
He's a guy that's established as an actor, and he's clearly finding his feet as a director. I think after another movie, or maybe a fourth film that he directs, I think he'll be absolutely nailing comedy stuff.
Unfairly or not, he is still sort of known as Melissa McCarthy's husband.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if this movie does really well, he will have sort of made a name for himself and can start directing films that don't necessarily star her.
Predictions this weekend for the box office are pretty strong.
Was it high 20s, mid 20s?
Yeah, but I think it's also the fact that it's going to, because obviously the issues with Batman's swift fall of box office. I think it's going to have a slightly easier ride in that front. But it's a good movie, and looking at Rotten Tomatoes. Tomatoes, it's got a very high anticipation score from people who actually want to see the movie.
It's a trickier sell than Spy.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
It's a good movie. You know, it's just a dumb comedy that delivers, and it's puerile in places, but it's just.
Did you like Hardcore Henry? Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. Again, saw that for IGN and interviewed the cast.
Okay.
I really enjoyed it. I was glad it wasn't longer than it was.
Yep.
Because the motion can get quite intense.
Were you surprised that it could that concept could sustain a feature-length film?
Yeah, very much so.
Because I thought it did.
Yeah. Well, there are a lot of movies that have not done, obviously, there are people who've done a similar thing for a portion of a movie.
Right.
And there are people who've done, shaky cam movies
to
do that. But they nail it. They do it really, really well.
Did you like Charlotte's song and dance number?
I did.
It's a lot of fun.
I did.
That whole character and the way that I won't ruin the surprise, but it's a lot of fun. All the different guises that you see him in.
Which, for about the first third to the half of the movie, I was like, I'm quite an intelligent guy, but I don't know what the fuck is going on.
I kind of loved it.
Yeah, and I was like,
and I like the villain.
Yeah, he was brilliant.
Yeah, that guy's good.
I actually described to Charlton and the director that he was a bit Voldemort, a little bit Lex Luthor, and a touch of Donald Trump if he was in a Flock of Seagulls tribute band.
Okay, so Hardcore Henry, worth your time. It's funny, my coworker Beatrice, she went to see it. Yeah. Beatrice Verhoeven.
Yes.
And she was like very. I warned her beforehand. I was like, "You're going to see Hardcore Henry? Are you sure?" She was like, "Yeah." Like, I don't know.
It's not a date movie.
She was surprised by the gore and the violence.
Yeah.
Like,
there's a lot of it.
The movie is not for everybody.
Yeah, no.
What else came out? The Invitation. We've discussed on this show at length. Did you see it yet?
I haven't. I'm watching that this evening.
Watched it last night. Again, I bought it. It's available on iTunes for $9.99. It's worth it because you'll want to watch it again.
Yep.
Obviously, love that movie. Should have something on the wrap coming later today with the writers and director. Demolition comes out. That was one of my favorites.
I'm hearing really good things
from last year.
That.
Are you? Because it's getting shit reviews. It's getting shit on.
I know a few people that saw it in the UK, and they were really, which I'm really surprised again about the reviews, because I know a number of people who actually seen it and actually say they really liked it.
I think UK audiences this may be a blasphemy, but they may be more sophisticated than American audiences. I've actually been surprised at the level of negativity for Demolition, which I just don't understand. But there's a lot of vitriol for it.
Do you know what? You might be right in that comparison.
There was this movie Hush that comes out.
Yes.
Now I watched that this week, as did you.
Yes.
What did you think?
Well, it's directed by Mike Flanagan, who is the guy who did Oculus, and he has a couple of other projects, including Ouija 2. And I saw that it was coming on Netflix, and I saw it was going in theaters as well. So it's a dual release. If you think it's kind of like a mix of your regular woman in a log cabin situation, then kind of
Wait Until Dark?
Yes, it's a touch of what was that movie with the Liv Tyler in a house with Scott Speedman?
The Strangers.
Touch of that, and it's that kind of thing. But there are a lot of those movies that fail. I found this genuinely really effective. I think a key part of the movie, aside from the tension in it, is going to be the sound design, which I think you will be able to get on Netflix, but I think if you really want to get that 5.1 stereo effect, go and pay to see it in the theatre. I think it'll be a very different experience.
It's interesting. I watched it on the screener, and you know the quality of those is never that great. I did surprisingly enjoy this. I didn't love how it started.
No.
I was kind of like about a half away in. I was like, this is not working for me, but it got better. I liked the lead actor.
Yeah.
It does certain things well. So I'll give Mike Flanagan credit.
I think it was very effective.
I wasn't buying, Mike Flanagan stock before this, but yeah, I thought it was solid. And for 80 minutes, it's definitely worth your time.
Yeah, I mean, like you say,
there's enough scares in it.
As a director, I wasn't a massive fan of Oculus.
Yeah, neither was I.
I see that he is very quickly gaining a lot of momentum and picking up a lot of skills and doing what he needs to do very, very well. So I'm actually very excited about seeing what he's going to do next.
I forgot he was doing Ouija 2, because he also has the Relativity movie that got shelved right before I Wake.
Yeah.
Guy moves fast.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and he's doing I Know What You Did Last Summer.
He's a talent, you know? He is a talent. I really think what I would like to see is he's doing a lot of these sort of horror movies. I would like to see him slightly move away from that and do something that still has this level of tension, but perhaps move towards the thriller. I'll be really interested to see what he can do with that. So, but Hush is great. Watch it on Netflix, but I would say go and watch it in the theater.
Another unfairly or not, I'll just throw this out there, you know. The horror filmmakers seem to be very tied in with the horror press. So sometimes I never know if I can believe the hype that I read about some of these guys.
Yeah, that's fair. But I think the horror community tend to be...
It's a small and tight-knit crew.
It is, and it tends to be... Horror films tend to get a lot of shit from other critics, you know, who are very snobby about the horror genre. And let's be honest, there's a lot of
I'm a horror
crap
snob.
out there.
Yeah.
You know, and there is a lot of crap out. I mean, you can just go to Netflix and, you know, look at all the really crappy, low-budget horrors. But there is some really good horror out there, and people take it for granted. But you are right. You know, you do see certain websites going, 5 stars, scariest film I've seen on a Wednesday this week.
Yeah.
You know, and it's kind of like, yeah, bullshit.
Like,
you know?
I'm curious about seeing this movie Darling from Mickey Keating. But he's like another guy where, like, I can't figure it out. Is he the real deal? Is it just hype? I don't know. The trailer, like, intrigued me, but I also watched the trailer with my roommate last night and was like, all right, so we're not watching this tonight, right?
Well, it's like The Boy came out quite recently. Was it The Boy?
I didn't see The Boy. So
I didn't see it.
And that's the STX one, right? Not the Spectrovision one?
Yes.
Okay. So many boys.
But there were a lot of people who were YouTubers going like, oh my God, it's amazing film. Oh my God. And when all the YouTubers, this is where I'm a bit of a snob. I was kind of like, yeah, this is because it's kind of come from the YouTuber community. Mm-hmm. And I think you're all just sort of circling your wagons to protect the film in the middle. It didn't get great, you know, didn't do huge business. It's done pretty well in the UK, actually, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. But there is an element of that where you're kind of like, okay, are you protecting this too much?
Interesting.
So I'm still keen to see it, because I haven't seen it yet. So I'm not speaking from a particularly informed point of view. But when that happens, whether it's, you know, horror press or whether it's kind of communities, I do go like, I think you're protesting a bit too much.
Well, I wanted to talk about a movie that came out last week and then one that comes out next week. And we're going to get more into it next week. But I did see The Jungle Book.
Yes, I've seen it.
So we could talk about it
last
right
week
now.
I interviewed the one human star and John Favreau.
All right, then let's dive in. Okay. What did you think of The Jungle Book?
I fucking loved it.
Me too.
Yeah,
I thought it was great.
I was not expecting to, because I felt, and again, I think Disney were kind of with some of the trailers, were going like, hey, everyone, this is going to be technologically amazing and really impressive, and oh, we've got heritage.
Right, that's all they were sort of selling was the visual spectacle, and it delivers on that front.
It does.
Did you see it in 3D?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I saw it at the El Capitan.
I mean, the 3D is lovely. I don't like 3D. It gives me a headache. It fucks my shit up. But so aside from the visual spectacle, though, I think is what you're getting at, that there's heart and a great story there. No?
And it's not. Sometimes Disney release films, and they are very much aimed at families. They're aimed at kids, and that's very much the audience they're going for. And if adults also like it, that's a boon. This film, which I really wasn't expecting much of, way delivered over and above. It has some lovely tones in it that, you know, it's not a pure Jungle Book story. There's lots of different things and different bits of the story, and the ending's not the same as...
But it's about a bully. It's a bullying movie, I thought. And this community rising up to fight back against the bully.
And there are some shocking
young
dark
leader.
moments in it as well, which I was not expecting.
We were talking about that in an editorial meeting yesterday, just about how Disney movies are getting a little bit darker.
Yeah.
And like you said, this is something that a 30-year-old could go see and enjoy. Whereas like in the late 80s, 30-year-olds weren't going to see Oliver and Company.
Yeah.
Disney has just sort of turned a corner.
I think a lot of the Disney-going audience have become a bit more sophisticated, and I think the studio has responded to that.
Children have grown up more sophisticated thanks to the internet, and I feel like they're more exposed to this kind of stuff at an earlier age. To me, it felt like a potential billion-dollar movie.
Yeah, I think it could very much.
It was. What did you think of the kid, of Neil Sethi?
I thought he was great. I'll be honest with you. At the beginning, I'm not a massive fan of kids in movies. I'm not a parent. You know, I love the kids that are in my life, but I'm not a massive fan of kids in movies. He really delivered in a non-precocious and very natural way. And the way that for someone who's never done anything like this before, to see him interact with what he had to act with, which was fundamentally nothing and puppets, was superb.
I thought he was really good too.
Yeah.
I know he's taken some criticism in some corners, but I thought it was a very impressive debut.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I thought he embraced it really nicely. And I thought he delivered.
I love those kinds of discoveries. Whether
Yeah.
it's like Suraj Sharma in Life of Pi.
Yep.
Disney seems to love them. They have the young girl who's playing Moana. Did you see that video where like she got cast as Moana? It's
Yep.
like the most heartbreaking fucking thing. And then Ruby Barnhill, who's in the BFG,
Yep.
Spielberg's movie. She's another discovery. I don't know, that kind of thing where you just stick a 10-year-old kid in the middle of a big movie is always kind of exciting to me.
And sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't work. It works here.
Yeah. So definitely check out The Jungle Book next week. And then I just wanted to back up before we talk about the news to talk about one of last week's releases, which I don't think we discussed. Everybody Wants Some. Did you see it?
Yes, I did.
Holy shit, this movie's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a real fan of Linklater's work anyway, which is a varied catalogue of quality and types of story.
Mm-hmm.
This to me, which is, if you don't know about it, it's a companion piece to Dazed and Confused. It's not a sequel. It doesn't have any of the characters in it. It's
in the same vein.
It's in the same vein.
Yeah.
It's different characters and it's different story. I was a little bit nervous about it because I don't know if you can go back to something like Dazed and Confused and kind of replicate that. Mm-hmm. He's managed it. And if anything, I'm a big fan of Dazed and Confused. I think he's matched, if not actually surpassed, that movie.
Really?
Yeah.
My roommate thought the same
liked it.
thing. I think that's crazy talk. I think that the movie is flawed. The romance of
So is
it...
Dazed and Confused.
I don't know about that. I think Dazed and Confused may be perfect.
See, I don't think it's perfect. I think it's damn good. I don't think it's perfect.
I mean, I know, the Mitch Kramer with the ticks, that's always a little distracting in Dazed and Confused, but I love it. It's one of my favorite films. It's a classic. I didn't think that this quite matched it, but it was terrific nonetheless. For me, the romance, that kind of fell.
Yeah.
She falls out of the movie for an hour. That's sort of where I had a problem. Like, if you're gonna make a movie like this, just go all the way and just make it about a bunch of dudes bonding. I don't know that it necessarily needed that element. And the shift was a little jarring.
You see, for me, I think it did, because otherwise it would just be a bromance movie. It would just be about guys. It needed that light and shade, that tenderness, I think, to match the masculinity.
It's a long movie, too. It's almost 2 full hours.
It doesn't feel like that, though.
I felt like it was a little shaggy and could use a little trim. There's a lot of... There's a lot of dancing actually in it, but anyways, I also think it's the first real awards contender of the year, and not. Here's the award I'm thinking of, because when you say awards contender,
Best Richard
everyone
Linklater
thinks Oscar.
Film of the Year.
I think it's honestly worthy of a SAG Ensemble Award nomination.
Yeah, not crazy talk.
This ensemble, which is, you have to talk about the actors when you're talking about this movie. It was brilliant. This combination of guys. Did you have a favorite?
No. I tried to pick one, and they've all got something appealing about them, and there's also an element of most of them that kind of makes them a dick, and they kind of switch in a very natural way, and that's why I didn't have I have favourite characters in Dazed and Confused. Mm-hmm. With this, I didn't, and I think it's because there was that constant shift in power. I
just thought Glenn Powell was so terrific in this. I think he's going to be a big star. I love Tyler Hoechlin as McReynolds. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I'm butchering these names, by the way. Austin Emilio, J. Quinton Johnson, the African American, the lone African American in the cast. And okay, so then let's talk about Blake Jenner.
Yep.
So the whole time I watched this movie, I was like, am I watching Han Solo? Because he's obviously in the running.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you think that he had, what did you think of his performance, and do you think he has the qualities of Han Solo? Do you think he could pull that off if it ends up being him?
If the role did go to him, I certainly wouldn't go, yeah. Did I look at him and say, compare him to, say, Taron Egerton and go, oh, yeah, he was better than... Choice A is better than Choice B. I would probably possibly go with someone else. But I think he certainly is right to be in the running for that role, if that is indeed the case. It wouldn't be a bad call.
He just has a certain look where, I mean, he seems tougher, more masculine than
he's fresh as talent. He's not coming to it with any baggage. He's a one movie and other projects kind of guy.
Other than his last name, which I don't know if that's helping or working against him.
Really?
Jenner. Yeah, just because I think Jenner conjures a certain idea, you know, for most people. Whether it's like, they think of Caitlyn Jenner, they think of Kylie Jenner, they think of Kendall Jenner. Like, I don't know. You don't think so? You don't think that affects it at all?
That's not an unreasonable point, but I don't think so, because I think the audience be slightly different.
Oh, of course. Anyways,
yeah, I mean,
I thought he's sort of the straight man in the movie, but I thought he was solid. It was definitely a nice introduction to him,
and the soundtrack's awesome too.
Anyways, that sort of does it for this week's releases. You know, it's always nice to talk about actual fucking movies on the show.
Shall we have a look at what people are saying on the chat at the moment?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, we've already got a hashtag for Golden Dick Jokes.
Golden Dick Jokes,
which is good. Okay, we also have people going to watch The Invitation after this. That's from the Lonely Seahorse.
Great.
We have a lot of love for Hardcore Henry and a lot of interest in that, actually. Hashtag Golden Dick Jokes, which is good.
It's still tracking at single-digit millions, I think.
But I don't think it's a film that's going to pull people into the theatre. I think it's going to be one that really, really gets on home entertainment, which is weird because to get the full effect, you need to see it on a big screen.
Right.
Zeno Hour says, couldn't get through Tammy. Also, Gregory Castillo says, I didn't mind Tammy. Tammy, like Susan Sarandon.
I couldn't tell you a single fucking thing about Tammy right now, and I know I saw it.
Yeah, you know, that was just a film that I watched and then it ended, and I'm just like, it just wasn't funny. It just hung there. But yeah, so there's a lot of response on that.
Cool. Thank you for weighing in, guys. Now let's move on. Let's talk about. Let's just get out of the way. Let's talk about that Rogue One trailer.
Yeah, kind of hit
massively. It was fucking awesome.
Yesterday.
Come on.
I didn't get goosebumps like I did for Force Awakens, but I'm not surprised about that because a lot of the characters in it we have never met before. We don't have that association with it.
Right.
If that wasn't a Star Wars movie and it just came to me as Rogue One,
it's completely new original sci-fi movie,
completely new thing, I would have gone, that looks shit hot.
That looks bad?
No, that looks shit hot. It looks
shit
really
hot.
Good.
Oh,
yeah.
You're making up curse words on this show.
This is going to come. No, in the UK, that's very popular.
Shit hot. All right.
This next week, I'm going to hand out a pamphlet or put subtitles on.
I guess. Yeah. I don't know. Here we go with hot shit.
Okay. No, it looks really, really good. I like everything about it. A couple of people kind of yesterday were like, "Oh my god, there's women in it. There are too many women," and I'm like, actually, yeah, there were people going, "Oh my god," but I think it looks really good. I think if that's the teaser, there's a lot more to come. I hope they don't show too much and actually spoil the end product for us.
Right.
But I think the minute I saw that, I was like, a lot of people were saying a couple of months ago, Rogue One is probably not going to hit the billion like Force Awakens
absurd.
did.
It will.
I think it very easily will now. Yeah. I think this is going to get people very excited. And people who weren't aware of Rogue One are going to get excited about it.
I think I'm going to like the Star Wars stories more than the actual episodes. Mm-hmm. That's just my gut feeling. I like that they can play around with some of the mythology in these films since they're not connected to a 9-film saga.
Yep.
I love the cast. I really do. I'm excited by the director. Everything about this is sort of my bag. Whereas I'm not a Star Wars guy.
Yeah.
It's just a different take on it, and it invites people like me in because it's new characters. Yeah. I'm stoked for it.
And it looks like, I think Gareth Edwards, who's directed this, obviously he started out with things like Monsters on a very low budget.
Right.
Disney have obviously put a lot of money into this, and I think they are going to be very pleased that they did. I think it was probably a little bit of a water tester by the fact that, okay, if these spin-off stories without the characters everybody knows are going to be out there, are the audience going to engage with it on that level, and how do we equate the budget to that? I think this is really going to nail it, and a lot of people are very, very excited about the supporting cast as well. Donnie Yen, a lot of people very excited about it.
I forget what I would point out. Oh, I was going to talk about Ben Mendelsohn's costume, which I think just is sick. He looks great. I don't know, just the whole aesthetic. I'm into it.
Yeah, I'm very excited about seeing more, and like you say, people who aren't already into Star Wars or aren't fans of Star Wars, I think are going to go, okay, this is interesting.
There were two other trailers that intrigued us this week. One was for David Brent, Life on the Road,
which the studio decided to drop the same morning as Rogue One.
Yeah.
Now, it's not my movie, it's not my film company, but I don't know if that was the best idea, because it kind of got overshadowed yesterday, and I think if they had held that off for 24 hours or brought it forward by 12 hours, they would have got a lot more buzz about this, because the trailer for...
It was funny. I laughed. I didn't even know that it was out until you told me.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. The
Right.
thing is, I mean, for those of you that perhaps don't know, David Brent is obviously Ricky Gervais's character from the UK, the original version of The Office. He's decided to make a movie about David Brent going back into the workplace and his life on the road as a wannabe rock and roll singer. It looks very funny. It's very rude. I mean, like I said earlier, love a dick joke, lots of that kind of stuff in there. I just think it was a really bad call to drop it the same day as Rogue One. They might have gone for David and Goliath with that, but bad call, because it looks bloody funny, and a lot of people won't discover that and won't talk about it. The talkability will be sort of, meted out quite a lot.
It was very raunchy.
Yeah.
I was actually surprised at how ribbled it was.
Yes. Tales of Ribaldry.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I've always harbored an affection for that character.
That's
and
the
for
teaser,
Gervais.
though, and that's just an idea of what's in store. I
Right.
think a lot of people are going to be very offended, but I'll be very pleased, because I love
Saint
that
Your
kind
Father's
of humor.
Office.
Yeah, it's a strong game for Ricky Gervais.
And then the other one I wanted to discuss. Did you see the Bloodfather trailer?
No,
Oh man, Mel Gibson pulling a Liam Neeson,
yeah. See, I'm
rescuing his daughter from drug dealers or whatever.
I used to really like Mel Gibson. I don't know. He just doesn't have the pull for me. I did see this was featured on a couple of websites yesterday. I just was just like, of three trailers that I wanted to watch, that was not the third one. I'm just currently not very excited. I will revisit that at some point and look at it. That's not in my three must-sees of the week, I think.
Okay.
I mean, I'm interested to see it. It worked for Liam Neeson, but Liam Neeson's already done that.
When
Mel Gibson's
Mel
a poor
Gibson
man
may
for Liam
hate
Neeson.
He may hate Jews, but I actually like Mel Gibson. I like seeing him on the screen. I even enjoyed Get the Gringo.
Oh, that was you.
Yeah, I was that guy.
Yeah, cool.
So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing him just go fucking crazy.
Yeah, it might do for him what Taken did for Liam Neeson. It might not.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm also looking forward to what the fuck is it called with Andrew Garfield? I always forget.
That's a good name for a movie.
What the fuck is it called?
Starring Andrew Garfield.
Anyways, Mel Gibson does have a new movie. His first movie since Apocalypto, right?
Is it? No.
It is.
No, wasn't Gringo after Apocalypto?
No, but I mean, like, directing. He didn't direct.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah,
Sorry,
first
I'm
movie
misunderstood.
directing.
Yes, I think you are right. Yes, I think so.
Anyways,
But the trailer everyone's going to go absolutely and lose their shit over next week is Doctor Strange.
ooh, coming to Jimmy Kimmel, right?
Yes. So I
Gotta
think
love
that's
that
going to be very exciting.
corporate synergy.
I know. So
Disney,
yeah,
ABC.
That's the one next week everyone's going to be talking about.
Cool. All right. Well, let's talk about
Dave Bautista.
Dave Bautista. Sure.
Yeah.
He has been cast in Blade Runner Dose.
Correct.
No, is it actually Blade Runner 2? Is that the title? They're probably going to slap a fucking colon on that thing.
I can only assume.
give it.
It's not a party until someone
Deckard's
slaps
Return.
a colon. I think they'll probably give it a subtitle, a name. I don't think they'll call it Blade Runner 2. That would suck.
There's just a lot of time has passed.
Yeah.
So Dave Bautista, now, he started out as a wrestler, right?
He did.
And now he's been in Guardians of the Galaxy,
Spectre,
and now this. Mm-hmm. What a fucking career this guy's having.
I just don't think he believes his luck. But I actually interviewed him for Guardians of the Galaxy, and with a lot of these wrestlers that become actors, you get some good ones like The Rock. Mm-hmm. do very, very well.
John Cena's doing
very, very well.
Yeah.
But it doesn't always. Hulk Hogan doesn't always work.
Sure.
Sometimes there's
Suburban Commando,
3 ninjas, that kind of thing. Was it Ninjas Something Mountain?
Yeah, it was like, wait, was he in 3 Ninjas?
No, he did one of these ninja movies, didn't he?
I know 3 Ninjas pretty well, and I don't remember all of them.
It was the one where they do the one with the mountain.
He was in the 3rd movie.
He was in the 3rd movie.
Okay, well,
yeah, he was.
I stopped after the second one.
I know my 3 ninja threequels.
There's only
this is the kind of highbrow stuff you get.
2 movies worth of Tum-Tum.
So it can be hit and miss, but I didn't like him in Spectre. I thought he was kind of wasted in Spectre. He was just there because he was a big hunk of meat. I really liked him, and when I interviewed him, he is a guy that really gives a shit about what he's doing, and he really puts a lot of effort into whatever he's doing, and he's taking this acting stuff really seriously.
Is he a gentle giant?
He is a gentle giant. He's a really intelligent guy as well, and he's a very nice guy. So I think that he wouldn't have taken this on unless he actually thought that it was going to be good, and he was going to look good in it and be good in it. So I wasn't particularly excited about the prospect of Blade Runner 2. It took me a long time to fall in love with Blade Runner as a movie. Didn't like it the first time I saw it. Didn't like it for many, many years. But I'm actually genuinely, with the talent they're attracting to this, I'm actually pretty excited about it now. I think it could be really interesting, and I think he's a great asset.
I dug Blade Runner, but I'm not a huge fan. That's another one where it's like whatever. What has me excited is the idea of Denis Villeneuve working with Gosling. I mean, I love Gosling.
Yep.
So, and they got Robin Wright, too. I mean, the fucking cast is shaping up really nice.
Yeah.
I love the image that Dave Bautista teased this news with the silver unicorn or whatever.
It was his version of the Athena poster, the poster from the 80s with the man holding the baby.
Oh.
You know that one? It was him cradling with a little unicorn.
Yeah, so. I think he's going to be a cool addition. I don't know how he will be used, but yeah.
Yeah.
Should be interesting.
So I'm genuinely getting very excited about that.
Speaking of long delayed sequels, there's 2 we can discuss.
Okay.
Galaxy Quest 2 being scrapped. Now, I made fun of you for including this on our new suggestion list.
You royally took the piss out of me.
Now, where are you hearing this? What is...
Well, this is something that Sam Rockwell said. I think he said it to the Nerdist podcast.
Okay.
He was doing something with them, and they basically asked about the Galaxy Quest 2 film that was apparently going to be made. There was talks of a TV spin-off as well. Basically, there were a number of things that were causing it to be delayed, and then obviously, sadly, Alan Rickman died as well. They wanted to get all the original cast back together. Tim Allen started doing a lot more TV and stuff like that, so that was kind of delaying it. And obviously, with those 2 things now, the death of Alan Rickman and Tim Allen being particularly busy, and obviously there'll be Toy Story 4 coming up in the near future, so he'll have to get involved in that. It's just basically collapsed, is what Sam Rockwell's saying, and it's now not going to happen. It was in the process. Now that process is not happening, which I think is not a bad thing, because I love Galaxy Quest. Seriously.
A lot of people do. I was never one of those guys.
Again, like The Boss. It's not high art, but I love it.
Mm-hmm. You're not alone there.
Yeah. So I would love to have seen more, but I'm absolutely happy with them leaving it where it was. So I was kind of like, okay, sad news, but also kind of, yay.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the idea that Tim Allen was ever going to star in another studio movie at this point in his career...
Come on, Man of the House.
...was completely laughable.
Man of the House? Welcome to the Jungle?
It's like, there was just no way that Galaxy Quest 2 was ever going to happen. I guess there could conceivably be a TV spin-off, and maybe there still will be. I don't think Sam Rockwell or Tim Allen would be involved, but I can see Justin Long starring in a Galaxy Quest TV show.
Yeah.
But the idea that there was ever going to be a movie, I just found kind of laughable. So it being scrapped is it's less a surprise than
I got that tone from your email. Yep, which was W Dick.
Sorry.
No, fine.
Sorry. And here's another one where I'm skeptical of, although this was your scoop, so I will not make fun of it.
I will post a link to it afterwards.
Plus, it got some decent pickup. I saw a lot of sites grab it, so congratulations.
Thank you.
But Alex Winter, still talking about Bill and Ted 3.
Yep.
What did he tell you, Simon?
Basically, he's been crowdfunding a Frank Zappa documentary that he wants to make to be his 3rd documentary, and I had to ask him about Lost Boys 30th anniversary and the 25th anniversary of Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Which is, I love both the Bill and Ted movies.
Yeah,
they are like Wayne's World movies where it's like, I would definitely see a new one.
Yeah.
But...
Yeah. So I asked him about this because there's been a lot of talk about it, and Keanu Reeves has kind of talked about it, but been a little bit more cagey about what's happening and what's not happening.
I think he just wants to be nice to Alex and, you know...
Well...
But go on.
It's got a script. It's got a director. It's got a studio. From what Alex says, it is due to start filming either end of this year or early next year. It's something he's putting quite a lot of his time and effort into. Apparently, the script is very, very good. A lot of the original cast are going to be returning. Obviously, sadly, George Carlin won't return as Rufus.
So who's even left? I don't even...
Well, I can only assume from that they're going to bring characters like Joan of Arc.
God.
But whether they bring it back from the first movie or whether they have characters from the second movie, I mean, I would be more than happy to see the Grim Reaper come back, because I think Bill
Sadler,
as that was superb.
He was.
Yeah. So,
seems too old to come back.
Yeah, I never say never. I mean, whenever he's in something, I'm like, I miss him being on the screen. So do you know what? I'm torn on this because I would really like to see a third Bill and Ted movie because I really like the first two.
Yeah.
But also, it's been 25 years since the last one. I'm a little bit concerned that the humour might not work as much in this day and age. But if they've been working on it for 6 years, it's
listen.
It can either be polished or overworked.
Hot Tub Time Machine didn't make any. The second one didn't make any money.
But that was a one trick movie, the first one, which I thoroughly enjoyed. The second one was just like whoever
Bill and Ted have a lot of tricks.
That.
I mean, it's a time travel movie.
Hey. I'm intrigued to see it.
I think things like Zoolander 2 are a strike against things like Bill and Ted 3. We still haven't gotten Austin Powers 4, the long promised Austin Powers 4.
Yep.
If I could have my pick, it would be Wayne's World 3.
Mike Myers is probably too busy. Mike Myers is not too busy. Some feedback on this.
Keanu is too busy.
Do a Lost Boys remake with Renner and Hardy. Sounds like a good idea. The Reaper was the best thing about the second film. That from Kenneth Wilson. Todd Graham. All for a Lost Boys remake. Love vampires.
Yeah, Lost Boys is definitely a property that you could take a look at.
Yeah, but did you see the really shitty straight-to-DVD movies that they did?
No.
I mean,
although I have the bandana, Lost Boys 2, a Best Buy exclusive.
Good God. Buy the movie, stay for the bandana. I mean, they were absolute crap, but I still quite enjoyed them. But they were very low budget cousins of the original. I still love the Lost Boys. I watch on a regular basis. I'm a big fan of that movie. Is
fantastic.
Yeah,
it would be so fun to fantasy cast that, like who the new Frog Brothers would be.
Mm-hmm. I think that would be good as a TV show.
That's a good call too. Why are we executives? Jesus, Simon.
I don't know.
Because you'd greenlight Bill and Ted 3.
I'm just wondering, is it because we keep giving all our ideas away on a show that's on the internet?
That could be it.
I'm just wondering, there might be a connection there. Actually, I did a piece this week because Rush Hour, the TV show, has started. And it's not great, but it's not the worst thing on television right now. And the ratings are not amazing. And I actually wrote a piece again for Forbes this week about 10 movies that would potentially make good TV shows.
Oh, okay, cool.
So I'll post a link to that later as well.
I want to see that. Yeah, I will keep an eye out for that. So I'll click on that.
So it's got. I'll share that later on. But yeah, I think Lost Boys would make a good TV movie. But Bill and Ted 3, it's happening. I'm going to be on the fence about that one. Even if it's shitty, I'll still watch it.
I just don't know that Keanu wants to go back to playing the dumb guy. I don't know. Let's see. We got Charlize Theron closing for Fast 8.
Fast and Furiosa.
Nice one.
Thank you.
Fast and Furiosa.
Quite pleased with that one.
I didn't even think about that.
I'm not just golden dick jokes, you know.
And it was funny because I did a story this week about the Game of Thrones actor, Christopher Hivju, or however you may pronounce that.
Sure.
Being cast as the villain's henchman. And at the time, my sources were sort of suggesting, Charlize. Obviously, she's been rumored for this, for 8 months.
Yeah,
and she's the only name that the trade reporters have ever heard. It finally came out in February after everybody was holding. And then I was sort of told that, well, there hasn't been much progress. There's been progress since February, but not much, And then the next day, Deadline reported that she is closed. Now, I don't know that she necessarily has closed a deal, but yeah, I think at this point and the day before when I wrote the Henchman story, you could safely say that she was going to end up in this movie. I don't know. I don't really have the specifics on the role or the context in which she will fit into this universe. I hear she may be named Cypher. I think that you're going to see the crew go to Cuba. Mm-hmm. I've heard that Dom has a Cuban cousin, who serves as the sort of impetus to get them there. They mess with like a local street gang there. We'll sort of see. But I think I love it. I mean, it's great casting. No?
Yeah, no, I think it's great. I think it's really, really good. And I think the franchise, if anything, just continues to gather more momentum rather than going like, okay, shit, another movie. It's starting to feel a bit old now. It's a franchise that doesn't feel like it's coming to the end of the road. Pardon the pun. I think if anything, it's really.
I know we keep
revving up for the future.
We to use bad like driving puns. Like I was really waiting for this to sputter out and run out of gas. This franchise,
this is awesome.
but it really hasn't.
You should work on the internet.
I just might. So yes, Charlize Theron, awesome fucking villain.
Yeah, I think she'd be good. I would like to see, you got Luke Evans, who was in a bed for most of the last one, and Jason Statham.
Who will be back for this one?
I love Jason Statham, and I think him and Charlize Theron together would be awesome if there was some sort of connection. I don't know whether they're going to arrest him.
That would be I think you stick with the Shaw family. I kind of like that.
Why not?
And then she could be a sister.
Yeah.
Who knows? Let's see.
I'll tell you what, put Angela Lansbury in there as the grandma. She'd be a foul-mouthed grandma, Angela Lansbury, in the Fast and Furious.
I don't know.
Just putting that out there.
Part of me was a little surprised just because Charlize just did Mad Max and didn't have the best experience on that. I think that this is a much different kind of set. She's sort of being welcomed into a family. I think everyone sort of has fun shooting these fast films,
and she's kind of enjoying franchises.
One of the things I learned, by the way, this week. So I know that people think that the title is Fast 8, and it may very well be Fast 8, but it's like it doesn't really fit. Fate. Like there's Fast 5. And then what was the sixth one called? Fast and Furious?
Yes.
I don't even know. And then Furious 7, like to go back to Fast, to just like alternate between Fast and Furious.
Just call it Fate.
I think that we could see a different title altogether, especially almost something to indicate
very quick and mildly annoyed,
something new from the Paul Walker films. That was one set, and maybe we're gonna. I mean, I'm sure the words Fast and Furious will still be incorporated
Furious
somehow.
And Fast.
But I wouldn't be surprised if they stuck a colon on that shit. Tokyo Drift style.
Fast colon.
Furious
colon. Furious colon. Hashtag Charlize Theron. Boom.
What else happened?
That's
Warner Brothers. So Kim Masters had an interesting story in the Hollywood Reporter this week. Did you read about DC?
Yep.
And there's all kinds of rumors running rampant about Warner Brothers right now in DC. And she sort of indicated that the studio is mulling making fewer sort of homegrown films. They're going to focus on their strengths, on their franchises, and so this next story sort of fit in with that narrative.
Yep.
Death Note, which was going to have like a budget of around $30 or $40 million from Adam Wingard. One of my, if I had $5 million, I've said on the show, I would give it to Adam Wingard. I think this guy's fantastic.
Okay.
He has a really cool sensibility. If you've seen, The Guest or Your Next, whatever.
The Guest was great.
Yeah. One of my favorites. So Warner Brothers let go of the movie a couple months ago, I guess, and Netflix has been in negotiations to swoop in and rescue it. They have the Death Note sort of series, or no, it's their old live action movies, Japanese live action movies on the streaming service. So they're already sort of in the Death Note business. I know that a bunch of other studio heads came to Wingard. When Warner Brothers let it go, but it just seemed to fit this idea of like Warner Brothers knows how to make these $200 million movies, but when they have a $30 or $40 million movie, they like don't know how to make it, is what I've heard time and time again.
I'll tell you who's really good at making those movies, is Bold Films.
Yeah.
Gary
I
Michael
love Bold
Walters'
Films.
company. And they are, I mean, I did an interview with him for Forbes about 2 months ago, and he was saying they are looking to move into that arena. That's kind of where stuff like the Jake Gyllenhaal Boston Marathon movie is.
Yeah,
is
there's a lot of
sitting,
companies that
where
are operating in
Samaritan
that space.
Is going to sit. I think they could do a really good job, and it's an area that they, these kind of genre movies that I think they would be a really good place to be behind this, to fund and produce that.
Well, Netflix is going to do it. Netflix money is no object seemingly to Netflix. Nat Wolff is still attached. It sounds like Netflix really wants Keith Stanfield to be part of it. So to me, it was just sort of interesting.
I like Nat Wolff.
Yeah, no, me too.
Yeah.
It was just an interesting move, given sort of what it says about Warner Brothers, because I was surprised that they're letting that go. It seems like a really cool premise, and that there was some excitement for it, and they could do it on the cheap.
But
it
if
wasn't
they're
a
not
huge
feeling
risk.
it, they are putting so much, into the DC movies and that kind of thing at the moment.
Sure.
Where they've got a very heavy slate. Maybe they're thinking, if we got 30 to 40 million. If we can put an extra 30 to 40 million towards one of these films, maybe we look at that and get that back.
I'm not sure that's necessarily how it works, but nonetheless intriguing. And then then there's a rumor that Netflix may have picked up Andrew Dominik's film, Blonde, about Marilyn Monroe. That's not confirmed. Netflix has sort of been on a retreat all week, but we'll see if that pans out.
We didn't get invited to that.
Yeah, no.
When you're on a Netflix retreat, if you want to go back to your room and watch something, do you just watch Netflix?
Right.
Or is that like a busman's holiday?
Like a satellite thing. I don't know. There was news that Cillian Murphy, I broke that one, that Cillian Murphy's going to do Dunkirk.
Yes.
Christopher Nolan's film.
Yeah.
It's sort of an inevitable reunion.
They work well together. Is this the fourth film they've done together?
Fifth, technically. He's in all 3 Batman movies.
Oh, of course he is, yeah.
And then in Inception. So this is 5.
Cool, okay.
And, don't know what he's going to be playing in the film, but could certainly play some sort of military authority, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's going to be a supporting role along with Tom Hardy and Rylance and Kenneth Branagh. Let's see.
Spider-Man reboot this week.
Spider-Man reboot.
Getting an IMAX 3D release and the title.
Well, IMAX is inevitable. You can assume all this shit's going to get fucking IMAX releases. Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah.
Then there was a bunch of other titles that were leaked too. When I looked into it, it was sort of told there's a lot of titles that get registered.
Yeah, they do, and they did this a couple of years ago when everybody was kind of losing their shit over the Gremlins movie that wasn't going to be made, and the studio registered a shitload of names around that kind of thing. There was a Goonies one they registered as well.
Yeah, you can't look. These URL stories always fucking crack me up. Would you like Spider-Man Homecoming though as a title?
Yeah, I don't think that's shitty. I think it could be quite interesting. I think I don't know whether that refers to. I don't know what it refers to. How that would tie into perhaps a mention of a villain or something. Whether there was a villain that would relate it to a Rebirth, Spider-Man, at Homecoming. It could mean so many. It's so ambiguous. It could mean a lot of things. Right. If that was the title. I wouldn't be offended by that
I forgot if I read it on, McWeeny or Faraci or Ain't It Cool, but someone was saying, what if the movie was just set over Homecoming weekend, and it was Peter sort of grappling with, being a teenager and going to the big dance and getting a date and that kind of stuff, and then,
there could
fighting.
Be a lot of stuff they could do around that.
Right.
Really interesting.
And I like that we haven't really seen the word Homecoming in anything, as far as I know.
It's very all-American, which I think is something they've kind of steered away from.
Denotes a new chapter, sort of, and something. So it could be,
Gregory Castillo says, super shitty title.
Super shitty.
So Greg's not a fan.
There were some other ones that Ain't It Cool had, like Greatness Awaits. It was like Spider-Man Greatness Awaits. Which you're like setting yourself up for if this movie's bad, the reviews are going to be like Spider-Man movie greatness still awaits.
Yeah.
You have to be wary of those kinds of things. So that was Spider-Man, but Batman vs Superman continuing to sort of sink into box office.
Yeah, big drop off last weekend, which kind of is not surprising.
But it was a pretty surprising. Like,
I mean,
I
the
predicted
scale.
Normally these big films drop 50%.
That's normal.
Right. I predicted a 60% drop, and it was closer to a 70% drop. That's significant.
Yeah.
And that does indicate, after the huge opening where people were like, oh, critics don't fucking matter, maybe they do, or maybe it's just that word of mouth matters, social media.
Yeah.
I know that when I went to Vegas and I saw all my high school friends who I used to go see these movies with, none of them, one out of the 15 talked to me about it. Like, oh, hey, man, you seen Batman yet? Like, the others don't give a shit. They're adults. They're starting to have kids now.
And I think that
married.
Well, like we've said before, that's kind of the problem with these films. And whether it's Transformers or whether it's whatever, you get the die-hard fans who will. And this happened with The Dark Knight as well. So it's not completely unique to Batman versus Superman. You have these movies where you get the hardcore fan base that go out en masse, and the curious people who've seen all the massive advertising go out that first weekend. It's sustaining that and keeping the crowds interested and keeping them coming in, and with Star Wars coming back for a second and third viewing, it's difficult to do that, and those films are quite few and far between, despite what some people might think. So it's inevitable that once you've had that first wave, in order to sustain that, it's really tricky. And if there isn't enough people who are curious to go and see it, a large drop-off is inevitable. But, it was substantial. That said, it is... in the 700,000, 800,000 million at the moment. So I'm sure nobody, 700, 800,000.
What do you say? What is this thousand?
Is it?
We're in millions. What do you?
Sorry, millions. Yeah, sorry. What am I talking about?
700 million.
Yeah,
yes.
so it's reaching that billion.
Well, we'll
getting
see.
Close to it, which is, I don't think anybody's at Warner is particularly crying yet.
They got to hustle before that Jungle Book movie comes.
Yeah, exactly. And when Avengers comes out in
Civil War.
Civil War comes out in a few weeks, that's going to take a load of screens away as well. So I think the next 10 days are probably really critical to push up, into that $900.
And guys, guess what? I'm seeing Civil War.
Are you?
On Tuesday.
I really want to see that. I know the guys are in town in LA this weekend, actually, because there's a big junket going on in town with the cast. I'm really, really desperate to see that movie. So, yes, I would like to be your plus one. Thank you for offering, Jeff.
I am taking a good friend and...
I know. I'm really pleased you've invited me, which is lovely.
Very welcome.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
The movie is screening at CinemaCon next week. That was always on the sort of official schedule.
Yeah.
And so when I had asked Disney, like, is it premiering there? And they were like, no. And I was like, well, then when is it premiering? It's premiering at South by Southwest. Oh my God, are they sneaking it at South by? And then, of course, they set the premiere one day before the CinemaCon screening. So you win this round, Disney. There's a little bit more stuff because we're going to wrap up the show. Wonder Woman moved up a few weeks.
Yep.
And then Warner Brothers also moved back its Jungle Book movie by a year. Obviously, it doesn't really make sense to release Jungle Book movie on top of another one.
No. Although the problem there might be the fact that if Jungle Book, which I expected will be very successful for Disney, you're then opening maybe the same year or year before a sequel to a very successful Jungle Book movie.
That's true.
Which could be a different set of problems.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm just curious to see how Andy Serkis's Jungle Book is different than this one. The Wizarding World of Harry Potter opened at Universal. Are you going?
I've already been.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I went a few weeks ago, actually. I've done the one in Orlando, or the two in Orlando now, as there are. It's really good. It's a smaller, more compact version of the one in Orlando. The main ride is in 3D, where it isn't in 3D in Orlando. Okay. So that does add a little something to it. Not a huge amount, because it's still just a kick-ass ride. There are a few other things within that world. I think a lot of people are going to go and expect it to be a massive theme park in its own right. It's not, and it's smaller than the one in Orlando. It certainly feels smaller if it's not by square footage. But it's good. I mean, there's the main ride. There's lots of stuff to do and lots of stuff to buy. If you're looking to spend money, that will not be a problem in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. And then there's a second ride, which is for the younger kids. It's like a small roller coaster, which is fun.
Can you play Quidditch?
No.
Oh, that's the only thing I want to do.
Quidditch isn't real.
Oh, that's
But
true.
there's loads of stuff to do. You can
It's
buy
like, oh
one that
yeah,
says,
wait, I can't fly.
Oh shit, reality. Oh, I always forget about that.
Bringing you back down.
But also there's interactive wand stuff you can do, and just to be there, the restaurants get the 3 broomsticks stuff, and the bars and the restaurants and the shops. You can spend a certain amount of time there really enjoying that and really immerse yourself in the world. And the fact that it does feel completely different to the rest of the park is amazing. Visually, it's massively impressive. It's a great vibe there. It is definitely worth going to see. You will not be able to get a ticket for the first about week because it's already sold out. It's so popular that Universal actually had to shut down online ticket sales in advance for the first time because that many people wanted to go and see it. It's worth the trip. It's really, really good. Didn't go to the opening ceremony, unfortunately. It was a big ceremony this week, but I have been there, and I do highly recommend going.
Cool.
So check it out if you're a Harry Potter fan.
We'll blow through some other headlines because then we got to go. Ryan Reynolds and Toxic Star on the Rosie Project. There's still no director on that. Jesse Plemons reuniting with his Black Mass director Scott Cooper on Hostels, which will star Christian Bale. The Beguiled from last week. Sofia Coppola is remaking The Beguiled with Elle Fanning, Nicole Kidman, and Kirsten Dunst.
I don't think that's a film I'm actually familiar with.
I want to see it. I guess it starred Clint Eastwood, and they're out to like Chris Pratt for the male lead. So we'll see if that.
Because he's short of offers right now.
Right, exactly. We'll see if that happens.
# pray for Chris Pratt.
Kevin Hart and Bryan Cranston starring in a remake of The Untouchables.
I like the idea of that.
Yeah, I knew that Kevin Hart has been looking to sort of, go serious,
and
if you
they've
will.
been trying to find people for that remake.
And it's still
for quite
a comedy.
while.
At one point it was Colin Firth and Chris Tucker. Jonah Hill making his directorial debut on a script called Mid-90s.
Yep.
I know he's been trying to direct for a while. It's just amazing what the kid from Superbad is going on to do. He's building a hell of a career for himself. The Patriots Day cast is coming together. We broke the Boston Marathon Bombers over at the Wrap. Alex Wolff is going to be one of them. Jared Leto replacing Tom Hardy in The Outsider.
Okay.
That was kind of cool and a little unexpected. I like the way the cast of The Office Christmas Party is coming together. I've been paying attention to that one.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, DreamWorks. Netflix is putting together a movie about the formation of National Lampoon called A Futile and Stupid Gesture.
Yes.
David Wayne is directing. There's a lot of stunt casting in this. We got Bill Murray and Harold Ramis last night were cast. I think it's John Daly is playing Bill Murray. Joel McHale is playing Chevy Chase, and John Gemberling from Broad City, which we broke on the Wrap, is going to play John Belushi.
Yeah.
Are you looking forward to this, or is this going to be a train wreck?
I'm really not very excited about this. I'm actually quite worried about it. I don't think any of those people really, certainly when you look at them, particularly embody those people.
Yeah, but you can't just find, how many people embody fucking Belushi or Bill Murray? It's like an impossible
It's going to
chore.
take a lot of work to convince me that Joe McHale is Chevy Chase.
Again, these guys are not the leads in the movie. They have 10 a few scenes or whatever.
I don't look at Joe McHale and say you would make a great Chevy Chase. I don't, and the same with some of the other casts as well. I mean, they're all people that I like the stuff that they've done. Right now, I'm just not going great casting. And I don't know. I'm a little bit wary about it.
We'll definitely see, but I do have faith in David Wayne, who I've always enjoyed. John Hawkes, Peter Dinklage, and Lucas Hedges are joining Martin McDonagh's next film, which is kind of cool. That just has a great cast. Frances McDormand, Woody Harrelson, Sam Rockwell.
She's amazing in anything. She could read a grocery list and it would kick ass.
I'm looking forward to that. Yesterday, Paramount won a huge bidding war for The Corporation about the formation of the Cuban Mafia with Benicio del Toro attached to star and Leonardo DiCaprio producing. That sounds pretty cool. I really I think that has a lot of potential. Of course, the book doesn't even come out until 2017, the winter 2017.
Right.
Someone has to adapt the book, and then, so this is like fucking years away. The Wrap has its summer movie package up today. I did a story on the biggest risks of summer.
Okay.
Things like Tarzan, Warcraft, Ben-Hur. So check that out.
Warcraft is going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
There was supposed to be an event in LA.
Do you think it's going to be successful?
No.
Neither do I. My roommate last night he wanted to bet me that it would open at like $200 million, that it would be one of the biggest movies of all time. He also he thinks it'll be the most pirated movie of all time. I said, give me some of the drugs that you're smoking, roommate.
I think it'll do okay. I don't think it's
Opening
gonna,
against The Conjuring and Now You See Me sequels.
I just don't think people are. I think target audience again. I think will be quite excited about it. I don't think it's going to have legs. I don't think it's going to appeal to people who aren't initiated into that world yet. It's going to take a shitload. It's not going to be an Avatar. I think it's going to be quite a difficult sell.
And then we're going to end the show with a little bit of news that not news, but
News on this show.
that Justin Chang, the longtime film critic at Variety,
Yes.
going over to the LA Times, that sort of made my jaw drop this week. And we love Justin Chang. I think he's one of the best film critics working right now, and it's a huge coup for the LA Times. So congratulations to Justin on his new job. That'll do it. I mean, what do you have anything you want to plug?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to follow me on Twitter, at Showbiz Simon.
Yeah.
On Facebook, I now have a Facebook page.
Okay.
This is Simon Thompson. Also, from Sunday, on our sister network, AfterBuzz, I'm going to be co-hosting the Fear the Walking Dead show on Sunday night, which is going to be going out at 8 p.m.
Awesome.
So,
well, you can follow me at the Sneider on Twitter and find my stuff on the Wrap. Also, stay tuned because later today, El Mayimbe, I'm coming for you on the movie trivia schmodown, baby. Guys, have a great weekend. Rate, comment, subscribe. Yeah. Have
Tell
a good
your
one.
friends.
See the invitation.
Send
Bye.
donations.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.